What a headshot! What a head!
How's it, guys? This is Dayvy, FPL, and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now in this video, I'll be taking you through my very own team selection for the upcoming Game Week 2. So now that Game Week 1 has fully concluded, if you guys do recall, my transfer plan was before that Everton vs Leeds game, which, let's be honest, not much happened there, luckily, as a non-Tarkowski owner. So to start off the video, I'll give you guys an up-to-date points total, as there were a few bonus points changes, and then I'm going to jump straight into my transfer plan and team selection for the upcoming Game Week 2, which is actually proving to be quite a tricky game week. So that's something you guys are interested in. Sit back, relax, and let's get straight into it. So at the conclusion of Game Week 1, we got a reminder that points might change up until that last game, and that actually meant we got an extra bonus point and landed on 55 points. Now 55 points isn't the best, it's actually pretty average for Game Week 1, and just a reminder, your Game Week 1 rank literally doesn't matter, and that's why I'm not going to show it in this video. There was a super useful graphic that someone actually created that showed when your rank actually matters, and in previous seasons it was actually on Game Week 15, which this week is going to be even later with the addition of those double chips. So you guys can't compare your ranks to people that have already used the bench boost and will be wildcarding probably in Game Week 2. I know it's probably going to be a tough lesson in patience, but your Game Week 38 rank is the one that matters. I still, however, will try and aim for about 1 million come Game Week 10. Game Week 15, if we can be around 500k, that'll be even better. It's tough to evaluate what those rank targets are going to be though, with all these chips floating around. But getting back to Game Week 1, let me know how many points you guys got in Game Week 1. I've seen some massive scores in the comments and on Discord. We can have a competition about who got the most points. Now with just one eye on Game Week 2, obviously we have one free transfer and 0.0 in the bank, but I'll talk about that shortly. Now the bench this week, I did manage to successfully bench a nice clean sheet from Richards, Crystal Palace. It looked actually pretty impressive. He didn't get any defensive bonus points though, that was left to his teammate Lacroix. Now Mark Guéhiou unfortunately didn't feature, wasn't even on the bench I think, and then Esteve, obviously Burnley, tough fixture against Spurs. Dubravka did manage to get an extra save point after conceding 3 though. Now where that extra point actually came from, that extra bonus point, was going to be Sanchez. He moved up from 7 to 8 points, which just made selecting him even better. Now I say that because there was a chance towards the end of the deadline stream when you guys see my defense, Murillo, Neco Williams and Pedro Porro. Originally I had sells between the sticks, but decided to split the odds. So in terms of Game Week 1, that decision does look pretty good, but let's just see how the future weeks play out, as unfortunately Nottingham Forest lost the double up in the clean sheet to a penalty. I said this in the transfer plan, it's both the best and the worst, because if you remove that penalty, Nottingham Forest actually look pretty okay. So quite a cheap way to lose the double up. Then finally, Pedro Porro had that locked in clean sheet. I think it was about 48% projected clean sheet before the game. So nice to see that that converted into points. The only thing is I probably was expecting a little bit more. I mean, I could have got Van der Ven for the 6-pointer. I want Pedro Porro for that more increased attacking threat. And it simply wasn't there in this fixture. So I just kind of wish that Brentford penalty either wasn't given or Thiago did miss it, as we would have had a full house of clean sheets. But that is how it is sometimes in FPL. It can be super damaging, but also super rewarding, like that late goal for Salah. So even though I support Liverpool, I probably celebrated that goal a little bit extra, making it 4-2. Any points from your captain is always going to be a good game week. Now a slight concern, as it does look like Erling Haaland currently could be the better FPL option. I wasn't expecting him to be outperformed in Game Week 1. Now at least Salah got some points because our other premiums did nothing. Palmer only got the 3-pointer, just hope that he bounces back in Game Week 2. And then Bruno Fernandes, even though it was a tougher game against Arsenal, his stats looked okay, the points just weren't there. The worst of it was the fact that he was one defensive contribution off the bonus points, so he ended with only the appearance points. Same for Rodgers, except he kept the clean sheet point luckily. Aston Villa didn't look great, and obviously Konza got the red card. Like Chelsea, just hoping that Aston Villa bounce back. Our final option though, king of the game week, Reinders from Man City, wasn't as sweet after Anderson racked up I think a 6-pointer, but definitely pretty happy that I went for the Man City utility 5.5. Now the beauty about getting 10 points in a week as a 5.5 is even if he gets benched next week, he's still going to provide good value. but I reckon that he's a season hold if he carries on playing for any Man City squad. So let's see how this does play out. I think he might even be getting an extra price rise before that deadline. Does look like a great option under Pep Guardiola. Now front line, nothing much to talk about. It was a pair of deuces. We've got Watkins though, was the bigger disappointment obviously as he costs a lot more. Aston Villa pretty non-existent against Newcastle. With Strand Larsen though, even though he got only 2 points, this was against Man City. And with Evan Nielsen blanking against Liverpool as well, pretty comfortable with the performance that he put in. Does actually look like he could be the best budget option if he can stay at Wolves. There have been some Newcastle rumours. But when actually looking at the squad, the team does actually look pretty bad in terms of points returns. Only the saviours Sanchez, Salah and Reinders pulling us into an average game week. But you guys let me know how your game week went. If you had Erling Haaland, you're probably smiling. If you have Chris Wood, you're probably laughing. Just can't believe that he's carrying on that low XG conversion. He's an absolute madman. Surely he can't keep it up though. So now let's move on to my team selection for the upcoming game week, and a quick reminder, this is yet another Friday night deadline. Please don't forget that. I want no tears about missing the deadline this week. Now in terms of my transfer plan this week, if you watch my transfer plan and my ultimate guide, you'll know I'm a big fan of rolling the transfer, and I can't really see too many moves that I want to do, only maybe potential -4s. I think changing some premiums around, maybe bringing in an Erling Haaland could be attractive, but I'm going to give it one more game week of information. Now the toughest part about this game week is actually there's two things. The first one is who to bench out of my defenders, and the second one is the Campsey debate. Let's talk about that benching problem first. So as you guys can see, Dubravka, Sunderland, Pedro Porro, Man City, Mark Gueye, Burnley, but I don't think he'll play. And then finally Esteve, like Dubravka, also Sunderland at home. All these options could have a name in my starting 11. Now let's talk about our goalkeeper debate first. Would you start Sanchez or Dubravka? For me, it's quite easily Sanchez at the moment, especially because Chelsea have the better clean sheet odds. I just trust them as a better defense. Where the problem does arise is in our backline. So at the moment, I've got Murillo and Neco Williams as a double up, and then finally Richards. So yes, a 0-0 would be the perfect result for me. I do have some concerns overall with Richards playing on Thursday night. If you guys don't know, Crystal Palace still have European qualification, but also back Murillo as well as Neco Williams if Eze leaves the club shortly. I just feel like overall it does make that attack definitely worse, and could they be a little bit leggy from Thursday? I don't know. Now would you guys start Pedro Porro or Esteve over any of these options? I kind of like the Nottingham Forest double up, but also like Richards for that DEFCON threat. I just can't see myself starting Pedro Porro. Yes, that Spurs might be more resilient and more defensive, but I'm pretty sure Man City convert and they have one of the lowest defensive clean sheet odds this game week. I guess the sensible thing might actually be to bench Neco Williams and start Esteve and spread the odds a little bit, but I sometimes like to put all my eggs in one basket. So at the moment I might just go for this fixture and hope that there's literally no goals in it, which would make me quite happy as a non-Anderson or Chris Wood owner. Now midfield apartment does get even spicier with the decision making. At the moment, yes, Mo Salah isn't my captain. I do have the armband on Cole Palmer. Now if you guys are a Liverpool fan, you probably know what I'm talking about here, or just the general footballing fan in the know, you know this game has all the tension this week after Isaac came out and said that he doesn't want to play for Newcastle. Now Percy, don't really know what's gone wrong here, but everyone's kind of blaming Liverpool and saying that they're the bad guy. I don't know if I agree with that, but I guess I might be biased as a Liverpool fan. But all you need to know is this is going to be a pretty hostile environment. Now that could actually be quite a good game. It could be quite free flowing, there could be a ton of goals in it, a lot of energy. Or it could be super cagey and Salah's literally getting no advantage. But maybe because I am a Liverpool fan, as mentioned, I'm being biased about the whole situation. If you guys are an outsider, what do you think this game is going to be like? I just feel like Cole Palmer and West Ham might be an easier fixture. Now I know that Cole Palmer and Chelsea looked very bad in game week 1, but so did West Ham, and therefore we could have a 50-50 decision here. Our next player, Bruno Fernandes, hopefully he does get some attacking threat. I don't necessarily like that he's playing a bit deeper in this new lineup, but there could be chance of DEFCON threat and he still is providing enough chances created. Now up against Anderson, who most people do own in their backlines, I'm pretty confident at least that Bruno should get something in this game. I don't really rate that Fulham defense too highly. Then Rodgers, Brentford's defense isn't also rated too highly after game week 1. I was hoping to get some points to repay the patience, even though it's only been 1 week. I just kind of feel like the two teams I need to rebound, Chelsea and Aston Villa, have really good fixtures. I guess time will tell after this game week. Then finally we have Reinders. Hopefully he's not assisting Erling Haaland too much, as he's probably going to be a high captaincy option. As mentioned with Pedro Porro, I just can't see Spurs not scoring here. Now it will actually be quite interesting to see if Reinders does start, because Spurs are a little bit of a kryptonite for Pep Guardiola. So if he does play, I think it's going to be quite a lot of trusting from Pep. Then our front line, Ollie Watkins, as usual, every single play it seems, I'm just hoping that he rebounds from the bad form, and Brentford's a pretty good game to do it against. Now we still are waiting to see if Ollie Watkins will be on penalties. Fingers crossed he might be, and hopefully he scores them, as his record isn't too great. Then finally Strand Larson, if he is still a Wolves player by game week 1 with all this transfer rumours, he does have a little bit of a tougher game against Bournemouth, but I think there's goals here. If he can perform similarly to how he did against Man City, the goals should start flowing through. That Wolves side still seems to be quite creative. I do kind of feel like the starting 11 picks itself besides the defense and the Campsey choice, which might be the only things I deliberate on up until that Friday night deadline. You guys can offer your insights though. Who would you start out of my defense? I assume it's Murillo, Richards plus someone else, and I'm pretty sure the Palmer captain isn't going to be too popular. Should I just go for Mo Salah? He's a great FPL option. There's going to be goals in this one. Or do you agree with me that this game might be a little bit cagey with all the hostilities? You guys can also let me know what your transfer plans are for game week 2 if you are going to make a move, or if you're free hitting, really interested to see how those squads are looking out. Make sure that you guys have notifications on please for my channel, as when we do go live on Friday, you guys will be notified and reminded about the deadline, as it can be a little bit of an awkward one a Friday night. This is basically going to wrap the video, guys. Hope you guys did enjoy it. Please like it and subscribe if you have subscribed yet. As mentioned, deadline stream still to come for game week 2. Hopefully I see you guys there. But for the time being, I'm signing off. It's been Dayvy FPL, and I'm out. Cheers, bye.